What will Helena Wayne be willing to risk if it means saving the Justice Society of the past, present, and future? Well, let's hop into the pages of Justice Society of America issue number 4 and find out together, shall we? Well, geez, you know, it really is a Jeff Johns series because the wait in between issues is getting longer and longer. At this rate, things won't end until 2026, but I digress. As we pick back up with the book, Deadman and Detective Chimp have gone to Madame Xanadu in hopes of getting some magical insight into the snow globe that Huntress brought with her across time and space. Naturally, we as the reader already kind of know what its deal is from reading Flashpoint Beyond. And Madame Xanadu is basically here to explain all of that to the modern day characters, as well as have some crazy flashes of future events that have yet to take place. Mostly this seems to be here to set up the events of a bunch of little new mini-series that are going to be spinning out of this. Sandman's getting one, Jay Garrick is getting one, and even Alan Scott is getting one. Leave it to Boston Brand, the dead man of all people, to actually ask a pretty important question, that is, hey, if Huntress's dad, Batman, is dead in the future, and if we can see the future via the snow globe, how did Batman die? Xanadu doesn't answer the question, but she is sure to drop a rather important story nugget, and that is, however Batman does die, it's a moment in time that cannot be disturbed lest they court disaster. And hey, speaking of death, Madame Xanadu also implies that the only reason that Helena Wayne was able to survive her big fight with Degaton from the beginning of this series is because she had the snow globe with her. Now she doesn't, and Degaton is attacking the modern-day Justice Society. Helena notes that while Degaton is still incredibly powerful, making short work of some of the Society's heaviest hitters like Power Girl, Green Lantern, and the Flash, he's still not as strong as he was in her time. Mainly because he can't just kill everyone within a second. In fact, Huntress comes to the realization that maybe the reason all of this is happening is because of her. She's from the future, which means this Degaton has a hard time reading her and knowing exactly what she's going to do next. Because of that, she actually manages to fire an arrow and shoot Degaton's kryptonite ring off his finger. This being a whole chronal blind spot thing also extends to Dr. Fate Halid. In fact, that's probably the whole reason Degaton has been trying to kill Dr. Fates. And with that knowledge in hand, Halid is able to absolutely blast Degaton. In fact, we see him get thrown back into a bunch of his own old comic panels. And you know what? Good for Dr. Fate. He's had so much shit heaped on him in other stories, it's nice for him to actually get a good solid win. I mean, if you can really call it a win. Degaton's not dead. As we learned from Madame Xanadu, he might actually be unkillable because, you see, he's actually a living, breathing time paradox. Oh, just like Reverse Flash was in the original Flashpoint? Jesus, Jeff, you're starting to repeat yourself. So all that blast really did was take him back to the 1940s, where young Degaton actually meets old man Degaton, who I'm assuming is the one is actually pulling the strings in this situation. But wait, there's more. It seems that Degaton actually has another ally in the form of Salem. Yeah, Salem, the witch girl, Dr. Fate's old sidekick. It seems she's actually key to the whole plan of destroying the JSA. Degaton travels through time, killing members of the team, and their blood sacrifices go to feed this crazy brand new spell, but more on that in a minute. We actually do get some downtime in this issue to spend with Beth Dr. Midnight and Yolanda the Wildcat. You'll remember that they were resurrected thanks to the Lazarus Reigns of the Lazarus Planet event, but as we discover in this issue, their brand new life is actually short-lived unless they take Lazarus pills to help them prolong it, a secret that they're actually hiding from the rest of the team. Dr. Midnight is actually hard at work investigating some of Degaton's blood that was left behind after the fight. The good guys think that if they can get some of Degaton's old effects, they too can actually launch their own counterspell to deal with whatever it is Degaton is trying to do. And finally, we learn what that something is. It seems he doesn't want to just kill the JSA, he wants to actively replace them across time. Probably with his own crazy Nazi version of the JSA, which certainly wouldn't be good for anyone or anything. The last key to this puzzle, though, is of course the snow globe itself. They need Huntress to charge it like she did before, but when they turn around, Helena is nowhere to be found. And that would be because she's gone all the way back to her home of Gotham to have a reunion with her father. Even though, as we just learned from Madame Xanadu at the beginning of this issue, affecting Batman's death in any way, shape, or form would be really bad for the timeline. And so that was Justice Society of America issue number 4, everybody, and overall I'm actually kind of conflicted on this one. Maybe it's just the incredibly long wait in between issues that's really killing my enthusiasm, or maybe it's just because this is an issue where it felt like a lot happened but nothing happened at all. Oh sure, we learned a lot of things, we finally know what Degaton's big plan is and how it involves a fallen sidekick, but mostly this issue just involves 12 different characters sitting around and explaining the plot to each other. Believe it or not, my favorite part of this issue is actually probably the most understated one, and that is Jeff Johns trying to reestablish the friendship between Power Girl and Huntress. It's where the book actually felt the most like an actual real Justice Society team book, and I hope we get more of that more intimate stuff moving forward. Because I gotta say, 4 issues in were really top-heavy on the whole time travel, mechanics, long-reaching generational conspiracy thing, which I like, but I can only take so much of. Also, now that we know that Salem the Witch Girl is actually going to be way more important to this story, man alive, I hope you read that Stargirl book, because it just became really required reading to A, know who she is, and B, know what her deal is. Overall, I think I feel comfortable giving this one a 7 out of 10. The art continues to impress, and when cool stuff happens, the book is definitely cool. I just feel like the momentum has really been shot in the foot a little bit. But of course, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is one of those stories that's just gonna read a lot better in trade. Lord knows I didn't love Flashpoint Beyond until the very end. And maybe this is just kind of how Jeff Johns writes superhero stories now. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.